Hi everyone, I'm Vlad. So we are going to talk a little bit about so hype topic AI and how it can be used or already used for incident response for engineers. Did anyone already try AI for like debugging, like checking infrastructure logs or engineering, like anyone? Oh, like almost everyone. That's great. And I believe experience was either great or mixed. For some of those of you, could be sometimes not so great. So yeah, it's all about AI. So let's start with good stuff. So what good can we say about AI? Lots of commercial platforms and commercial stacks that provides different observability for us already started to integrate AI in different ways. Some of them, they have like their own AI agents, assistants that can help you to observe and explain different stack, like, I don't know, Datadog, Honeycomb, New Relic, Grafana, PagerDuty. Some of those like lots of companies use open source platforms, and those also can be connected to AI and observe. And there are lots of AI stacks that you can connect. So you can use either like Claude Code, Codex, any agents like custom agents, commercial SRE. I even saw multiple one on Expo. So yeah. Companies actively started to implement AI. Almost 50% already running some pilots. So, yep, things looks really great around how people try to do different things. So, how usually our day-to-day life look like? As a few years ago, it's like something is slow, something is broken. Something is crashed, queue grow, I don't know what hell is going on, can you help me? And like lots of such Slack messages. So it's pretty common stuff that you as an engineer, infra, SRE, need to investigate. And we have like common flows, different for specific companies, but overall it looks like, okay, you have some alert, you have like potentially you have some playbooks or information about how to debug it or what to investigate, you collect context, you try to correlate all the data to understand what really happened, and after that try to fix. And yeah, and people start adding AI in different ways. So for most of that, we can add AI potentially for a fix, but it can have lots of unexpected consequences. And yeah, it can really help you to fast collect all the data, understand what happened, try to gather and summarize whatever related data about incident or some specific issue people have, and probably even provide you draft of the solution or solve the issue. But yeah, with some actions you provide to agent and some permissions, there could be good and bad stuff. So for that, we will talk a little bit further. And yeah, great stuff happened, I believe, almost 2 years ago. Anthropic introduced a protocol, model context protocol, that allows different platforms to connect to AI and provide a unified way to connect to them. And yeah, that helps to agents to connect to all those telemetry data to everything you need to investigate. So same access human can have. Yeah, and here we can go for where agents start having some kind of problems, limitations, the bad part. Yeah, I believe When you start investigating something and you just can run something in Claude Code or whatever agent you use and ask to do something, especially a few years ago, you can face such stuff like rabbit holes. Even people can do that. When you start investigating something, discover something new, start investigating that part, dive deeper, discover something new, and you go deeper and deeper, and yeah, probably even lose the context what you initially started to investigate. And yeah, especially with limited context for agent, it can be just stuck analyzing noise. It can provide more information that you actually even don't need, and you can wait for an agent for like doing basically nothing. And it's not so rare stuff. Important part for agent, it works with the data you provide. So important understanding about any agent, it's like common phrase, garbage in, garbage out. So you should care about what do you send to your agent. So if you send unrelated data or bad data or anything like that, you will, I believe you shouldn't expect any good results from that. But yeah, so you need to understand and filter and provide access to data you need in the way agent can consume it and understand. Also, agents are still limited, so such thing as a context is still a case. So, of course, large language models, they have much bigger context than 3 years ago. But even 1 million tokens is not something comparable to like telemetry data that we can have. So yeah, with lots of with big contexts, agents start degrading performance. So if you provide lots of data, that's not where you should expect something significant or useful. And of course, for unknown failures, it's also a mixed experience. So if there is an issue agent doesn't know about, either from the model itself or from a knowledge you provide, you can provide him a way for creativity, but you don't know what to expect. It could be either way. It could be something useful or like vice versa. So yeah, so such stuff usually should be scoped. And yeah, current state, as I mentioned, for context is better than it was last year's, but still not comparable. So you have tons of logs, tons of metrics, traces, like some kind of specific knowledge you need for your agent, but yeah, it's not comparable to context that AI can handle. So you need to find ways how to provide it in a good way, either like filtering, compacting, providing like more specific pieces of data. Okay, and more concerned part is the ugly part. So the bad part is not actually something that will impact. Yeah, so it can be controlled. So it's just not so convenient way around AI that you need to understand how better to work with it. The ugly part is something that can be more like harmful than like useful. So things you should understand and be aware of. So one of the stuff, AI doesn't just hallucinate, but it does it confidently. So when you hear something from AI, it can be 100% sure that it does a great stuff. And if you don't check it, you will probably also be so. So there is an open RCA, so it's like root cause analysis study, and only like it was, I believe, 1.5 years ago, but still, the best model showed like 11% success rate, so it could identify root cause in 11% of cases, almost 1 of 9. But the problem is that it was 100% sure it identified everything. So, and that's a big gap. With different approaches, people were able to improve that score into like almost 80% as far as I know. But it's still, you cannot trust always because AI has its limitation and it's pretty significant one. So humans should always identify what happens there, what they should do, and check what AI does, if it's something impactful and significant. And talking about human, more AI introduction, and the problem becomes from another way. Even with human in a loop, engineers trust AI without verification. So I remember personally, like I stamped some PRs and I didn't read what AI did for some simple stuff. And I believe lots of engineers are the same. Probably not everyone, but yeah, it's lots of problems around that. So people just blindly stamp and trust what is there. So even like lots of companies started to invest in upskilling programs. So how to use AI, how to verify what it does. And one of the big problems that AI causes is like a knowledge gap, because junior engineer, it's much harder to learn as a junior engineer because you start using AI, and it's much difficult to like start understanding concepts what was like 10 years ago, because you start trusting in lots of stuff to AI. And yeah, for senior, just they same rubber stamp AI suggestions. So this is very potentially harmful and risky way of using AI. And one of important from another perspective is security concerns. So AI introduced one of new vector of attacks that also could be probably more security related, but also need to be taken into consideration. Yeah, when you started to analyze like logs, telemetry data, whatever you have, there could be generally lots of random data that you logged. When human read it, it doesn't like, it couldn't intrude anywhere or like impact something significantly, but when AI started doing that, it could do different bad stuff. So it can send the data, it can provide some extra access if it's set up incorrectly, leak secrets, provide whatever security related problems. And WASP mentions that there is like 500% increase in prompt injection attack in just last year, and will probably be more because it's relatively new field of studies. And so the final truth is, okay, you can trust AI in some ways, but important stuff you need to verify. So basically verify everything, but what AI does good, it can correlate the data, it can analyze lots of information much faster than human, it can provide suggestion, especially if it's common problem that you already aware about, but you still better to be responsible for a final decision and final things. And yeah, as we know, like with great freedom comes great responsibility. Yeah, so I consider AI as a force multiplier. It scales like everything. like it scales productivity, decision, and impact, but it also for like mistakes, risks, and failures. So yeah, be careful with that, but I suggest highly to use it because it helps a lot. Yep. I think that's it.